We're at South High School where tonight the Sheboygan Red Wings take on Pulaski. Hello everybody, my name is Mike Martin. Joining me is the coach, Chris Wright. Chris, we got another homecoming game tonight. And they had a good article in the paper the other night about South and needing to run the table just about to make the playoffs. Can they do it tonight?
Well, they're going to have to do it tonight, Marty, if they have any chance. In the future, they have Preble, who's right up at the top, and then De Pere, a good team that they can compete with. But it starts with tonight, and Pulaski's one of these teams that this year is kind of like the Wisconsin Badgers. They've been in a lot of close games, but they've lost a lot of them. So they're kind of on the bottom, but they have the potential to beat anybody on a given night.
Let me ask you this. Take this in a little bit of a basketball perspective. They say you don't want to press a pressing team because they're too good at breaking the press. Well, tonight, Pulaski's a running team. They don't practice much against the pass, yet South is mainly a passing team. Does that give South the advantage?
Well, let's hope so tonight, because you're right. You're looking at Pulaski that basically runs a wing T option thing. They have a quarterback that, has got almost a combined 1,000 yards this year. So he kind of runs a little bit, where obviously the strength of Sheboygan South, as you said, is their passing game and those two nice receivers in Renzelman and Wilson. Hopefully they're both healthy and ready to go tonight. Jake Rissel's having an outstanding year, close to 1,000 yards through the air, 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He can run a little bit too, but you're right. It's kind of two opposite things here tonight. A little bit more passing with a lot of running from Pulaski.
Now, South's defense has been good in the past, but they are a little nicked up tonight, and they need to do a better job against the run, because that's really what's hurt them.
Yeah, they lost they lost Hartman this week, Nick Hartman, the second linebacker they've lost. Brent Jacob, I said, was an all-conference linebacker. They lost him the third game of the season, so you got two guys banged up. Jacob Bannock and Jake Reuter from the offensive side is banged up. The best thing for Sheboygan South is a little home cooking, and homecoming's going to help that. Playing at home will help them. When we left here a couple weeks ago, they're all high and on a nice 3-game winning streak. Now they've stumbled on 3 very difficult teams, but a little home cooking and a team on the bottom might help that tonight.
One of the things that'll help is having Grant Renzelman back, but we got a great night tonight, and homecoming, that's certainly got to help.
Yeah, nice clear night, and it looks like there's a big crowd out here, which is great. I always like it when they come out to support their team, and 2 wins is what you need, South. Let's get that first one tonight.
All right, with that, we're going to step out. When we come back, we'll have the kickoff for tonight's ball game.
Just close my eyes and I'm with you, and all that I so wanna give you, it's only a
You don't have to be a hero to be a hero. When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there makes all the difference.
Pop quiz for you. In what movie did I play a gang leader struggling in school? Who was my teacher? What did I learn in math class? Oh, and here's one about you. What did your kid learn in math class today?
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school and know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
The United Church of Christ. No matter who you are or where you are in life's journey, you're welcome here.
Here you see the South High Red Wings getting ready for tonight's ball game. South comes in with a 3-2 record. There you see Chris Hine, the head coach for Sheboygan South. Head coach for Pulaski is Dennis Bogaz. And we're getting ready to do some announcements, I think.
Well, they're introducing the Pulaski Red Raiders, Marty. They come in at 2-4, 1-4 in the league. Second in the league in offense. They're tied with that. So despite that just 1-4 record, that's, as you mentioned in the opening, something that the defense of Chris Hine has got to be a little bit concerned about. And he made a nice reference in the paper that the quarterback is something like a former player, speaking of homecoming, Tim Stubbe, who had an outstanding career here at South High not too long ago.
One of the things that could cause problems for South is that misdirection offense that Pulaski plays. You know, it's I wouldn't be surprised if Steve Reinhardt upstairs has trouble following the ball because you know they've run it all year, and this program has run that offense for a long time, and it's very important for the defense to play their positions and read their keys, and not get deceived by that type of offense.
Very good point. When you run a wing T option and that belly action going, that's a little difficult sometimes to go. And a very good point, Marty, is you got a key and know it's all about scouting and coaching. And did you listen to your coaches this week to know those available situations?
Like Chris mentioned in the opening, this is an extremely important game actually for both teams because Pulaski still has an outside shot to make the playoffs. They have no margin for error, however. They lose a game and they're out. They would need to win all remaining games to have a shot. South has a little bit of wiggle room. And a good point was made in the paper regarding South is that they have the upper hand when it comes to decisions between conferences because they play in such a tough conference that teams with similar records from a lesser conference wouldn't maybe stand as good of a chance.
Well, the other big thing for South is if they do go 4-4 in league play, they do have the non-conference victory against North. And we mentioned that way back in August that unfortunately one of those teams has to lose, which may hurt their playoff chances. But for Sheboygan South, for beating Sheboygan North, that will give them an over 500 record, and that would bode well come the playoffs. Watching some of the early practices for Pulaski, they got some big boys up front as well.
Murray kicks off, and they let it go. It goes out of bounds. Pulaski will get it in great field position, and not a good way to start off the ball game, Chris.
Not what you want at all. I expect a high-scoring game, Marty. I expect this game to be a winner in the 30s.
One thing that I would think would be an advantage in that regard for South is the fact that they have a really good passing game, and if they do get down a score or two, they've got the wherewithal to push it down the field. Ball spotted on the 40-yard line, 1st and 10, Pulaski. Max Neldner is the quarterback, number 5. Inside handoff to the first back through, picks up 10 yards on that carry.
I think that was that fullback, number 99, Marty.
Christopher Hallsack,
220-pound fullback. Strange number for a fullback.
Yeah, you don't see that very often, do you?
Coach, I want to be 99, and I want to run the football. Okay, you're 220 pounds. We'll give it to you.
Second back through on the sweep. A pickup of about 5 yards. That was Derek Anderson on the carry.
Well, I mentioned in the opening, very nice crowd. Lots of parents out tonight. Homecoming weekend. Lots of parents and students here. South at 3-3 on the season, 2-3 in league play. As we said, they must win 2 more. They have Preble and De Pere ahead of them.
That was actually a second down play, Chris. First back through again and stacked up and pushed back at about the 42-yard line was the big fullback.
Good job of tackling that time, Marty. A host of South Red Wings on that play. Good swarming tackle. I know South's lost the last 3 weeks to teams that are combined 13-2 in the league, but you know, they were right there. A couple big plays, I understand, changed momentum of the game.
Anderson again, but he gets stacked up behind the line of scrimmage. Good defensive play out there by South.
Quite a good job there. You had two white jerseys going to the right, a little reverse action coming back to the left. Quarterback going left. Makes your head want to spin. Look at this. Whoop, which way is he going? And the line did a horrible job because they didn't block anybody.
Too much penetration, and that could be the part of the problem for Pulaski. 3rd down and 7.
He wants to pass.
Yeah, he does, and not being able to throw the ball was Race Neldner, brother of the quarterback, and he gets thrown down for a loss.
Could you smell that, Marty? Because they sniffed that one out.
That was a loss of 7 yards on the play.
Just the way you want to open up on defense. Force a punt. Brett Watson back for South. And how often do you see the quarterback as your punter?
Not very often. Although Donnie Anderson, a halfback, used to be a punter for the Packers.
Number 44.
A good snap. Kick is away. Watson calling for the fair catch and makes it at the 24-yard line. Not a real long kick. South will have it 1st and 10. Well, good defensive stop after that first couple of plays, Chris. South really tightened up.
Well, as I mentioned in the opening, we're playing it without their starting tight end and their fullback, Jacob Bannock. Or
Sager is the deep back. They hand it to him, second back through, and he's got an opening. Picks up a block. He's at the 40, the 50, down to the 40, and knocked out of bounds inside the 35-yard line. Great block up the middle. If we get a replay on that, you're going to see a wide open hole on the left side of the South line.
I think it was Corey Wench, Marty. Blew him open there.
There you saw it, and a little bit, just a little chip block out there.
Good job
by Renzelman. Sager again, fighting hard.
Got a little life under his feet there.
Certainly does. It's a 44-yard run by Sager earlier.
Boy, Jake Risto, as I mentioned in the opening, he's 946 yards passing this year. Over 50% through the air, 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and it's hard to believe that he's a senior already. I remember when he was still playing soccer in middle school.
That time he got blocked at the line of scrimmage and thrown down, Mark Sager.
Jacob will also have hopefully will have an outstanding baseball season. He'll be one of the better players in our league.
3rd down and about 4. Ball spotted inside, just outside the 25-yard line. Renzelman in motion. Risto straight back, firing a crossing pattern. The pass is incomplete.
I think the intended receiver there was Wilson, but he couldn't get across there.
Yeah, they had that bottled up pretty good. Wasn't able to get off the line of scrimmage very quickly. It's going to be 4th down. They're going to go for it on 4th down. A little too deep for Murray to try in a field goal. Wide receivers all over the place. Handed off to Capitello. trying to bounce it to the outside. A good defense played by Pulaski. They flowed right to the action and made the stop. Capitello maybe picked up a yard. He was the young man that had the long kickoff return. I believe that was the last time we were here, actually. Yep. There you're going to see it.
Freshman.
Yeah,
Wonder Boy. That's what I think they're calling him, is Wonder Boy.
It's going to be 1st and 10 Pulaski. Ball spotted on the 25-yard line. South, if they can do a stop pretty quick here, 3 and out, is going to get the ball back in great field position. Fullback up the middle. Struggles forward, gets all the way up to the 38-yard line. That actually was not the fullback, it was Wesley Kubiak, a running back. Seeing a variety of runners tonight, Chris.
Well, they got me, Marty. I was watching the flow to the right. And as you said, it went up the middle. And I'm over here.
12-yard pickup. Hand off to Kubiak again. This time he gets met right at the line of scrimmage.
Darren Thomas Key there amongst a host of Red Wings. Again, good swarming to the ball, Marty.
Have to read your keys. Second down and about 8 or 9 yards to go. Man in motion, a pitch out to him, and it's a bad toss. Getting the ball back was Ryan Nyquist, but it goes for a big loss. All the way back to the 34, 33-yard line. That's a loss of 6.
It's the last time we'll see that play tonight.
Watch this, not a very good toss.
They'll probably scrap this one.
Kind of look, you know, if he'd had the little spin, a spiral when he pitched it back, would have been the old Rudy Bukic to Gail Sayers play. Third down and about 14 or 15 yards to go. Up the middle, passes made, or a catch is made, and they're going to give him the catch in the first down. Oh boy, what a break. The ball was hit by 2 defenders, and sliding in and making the catch was the Pulaski receiver.
Well, I know Watson was there.
Here you're going to see it. Throws into double coverage, and the catch is made. And I didn't catch the number.
85 it was. Christopher Tarasinski.
Neldner pitches back at the last minute, and his running back is knocked out of bounds just short of the first down.
Well, for as bad as that pitch play looked, Marty, the last 2 plays, Pulaski looked like a conference leader. A little bounce off catch on the hustle, and there you got the quarterback, and at the last second pitches it. Nobody's got the option man.
2nd and 1, ball spotted on the 41-yard line.
Good drive by Pulaski.
Give it to Anderson. He slips through. He's suddenly open. He's going to get knocked out of bounds way downfield. Anderson breaking through, and again a big play by the Red Raiders of Pulaski.
Well, we've mentioned Pulaski in the opening. I call them the Wisconsin Badgers of the FRCC here. They got a tough 1-point loss to De Pere, 1-point loss to Sheboygan North. So they easily could have that record a little bit flipped. So don't underestimate the Red Raiders tonight.
First back through, taking it into the end zone for an easy touchdown was Wesley Kubiak from 11 yards out. Touchdown. Kubiak, and Pulaski's on top with 4:44 remaining in the first quarter.
They look good when the drive started, but last like 4 or 5 plays, Pulaski's really turned it up and got some breaks And they took advantage of it, and they got that TD.
Well, the big play was that 17-yard reception on 3rd down. Kick is up and good by Shane Reinhardt, and that makes it 7-0.
If you're not helping after-school programs, you're really helping to take them away.
That wasn't very nice.
After-school programs, wouldn't you rather be helping?
Back at South High School, where Pulaski has just driven the field and scored. And they are getting ready to kick off. Back deep for South is Capitello, number 21, and Alec Lang, number 23. Doing the kicking will be Max Neldner, the quarterback. Mr. Do-It-All. Reminds me a little bit of that, was it Alex Smith? From
Southwest.
Lang has it on the 18. He's got a little bit of an opening. Tries to cut it back, but is cut down just over the 30-yard line. The 1st and 10 South.
Well, on the first drive, we saw a lot of positive things out of the Red Wings. See if they can turn a little bit into a more positive situation, put some points on the board. Now that you trail 7-0.
Well, I used Sager quite a bit on that first drive. Give it to the fullback this time, and he's wrestled down just over the line of scrimmage. On the carry for South was Dan Keel. It's going to be 2nd down. Actually, they're going to give him maybe a gain of a yard. 2nd down and 9 for South. Renzelman in motion. Risto on a quick out. He's got Renzelman. Picks up a block from Wilson, and he gets the 1st down out near the 45-yard line.
Guess who made the stop?
Neldner.
Shoestringer, nice burst of speed by Renzelman. I thought it'd be a bigger gainer than that, but Neldner made the stop. And with that, we're going to get a holding penalty, though.
I think they're going to get it on Wilson on the corner. Curtis had what looked like a pretty good block, but they're going to call him for a hold, which is unfortunate. Ball gets marked back to the 27-yard line.
Here you see the replay, Marty. There's the quick out. And
watch the block. Yeah,
yes.
He definitely had a hold of his jersey. That was a good call. It's going to be 2nd down and about 14. Inside handoff, no. Risto kept it and gets knocked down at about the 30. A little bit of a gain, not much.
Kyle Kubiak. We got a lot of brothers on this team, Marty.
Yeah.
He made the play that time, number 47. Didn't think he was going to be able to fight off that block there by South, but he did, and stopped Risto. Sets up a 3rd and long.
3rd and 11. Trips to the left. Like to run out of this formation. Let's see what they do. Straight back. And we're going to have a penalty. Wilsing trying to make the in move was definitely knocked to the turf by the defender, and it'll be pass interference.
You can use the word decked.
He was definitely interfered with. Watch him at the very top of your screen. Coming across. Whoops. I did mean to do that, by the way, Mr. Official.
Wow. Oh, and he's getting an earful on the sidelines. Cody Richardson.
I remember.
Oh, no, it wasn't on him. I apologize. I think it was on Jordan Butcher.
I think Nelner could probably get away without being yelled at. He's on every other team. Can't yell at him too much. 1st and 10 South, ball on their 45.
Yeah, 3-minute mark of the first quarter. This one's moving along.
It is. Second back through is Sager, and he's hit right at the line of scrimmage and spun down. He's going to pick up a yard, but that's about it. One of the things we didn't mention, Chris, in the opening was the fact that South's big offensive line could be the difference too.
Yeah,
we've seen some breakdowns from Pulaski, not enough, however, but
yeah, that time they ran right at the 310-pounder Adam Larson, number 67. I'll tell you, that far side or that left side of the line is big. We saw some openings to the right. Let's see if we can get another one over here.
Risto fake handoff rolling, going deep. He's got Renzelman out there, and he almost, Wilson that was, and he had a shot at it, but the defender got the job done that time.
3 chances for Wilson.
Risto in the early going. Chris is 1 for 3. It's going to be 3rd and 9. 2:11 remaining in the first quarter. Pulaski on top, 7-0. Mike Martin along with Chris Wright bringing you the ball game. Scott Miloff is our director. He's down in the truck pushing the buttons, he told me. They don't spin dials anymore. And an early whistle, timeout South. I want to talk about the next play. We have a little change in our lineup too, Chris. Eric Wiesman, normally the up cameraman, is down on the field. Brian Andrews gone. And Steve Reiner is up on top, running the up camera. Nice to see Steve again.
Two weeks from now, we'll be at...
yeah, we got another week off.
Jeez. Well, that'll be a Thursday night. Last game of the regular season, and...
I won't be there.
Yeah, South, hopefully. Maybe we can catch them for a playoff run. If they get so far, they got to win, like I said, 2 games.
And then the week after that, we have our final broadcast, unless we go down the tournament road if someone from around here makes it. Lakeland against Concordia of Wisconsin, not to be confused with any of the other Concordias nationwide, and or should I say North America.
2:11 left in the first quarter. Need another third down conversion here, Marty.
Lots of wide receivers. 3 to the left, 1 to the right. And Risto is going to get sacked. And not much blocking there. They caught Pulaski in a blitz and just didn't have enough people on the line of scrimmage to pick up the blitzers.
That's when it gets frustrating, Marty. You call timeout to set up your play.
Yeah.
And then you get
spanked.
Yeah, run over.
Late arrival is Wilson. Good snap. The kick is away. Catch is made. And a nice tackle. Keeping the return man, who was Christopher Tershinsky, from breaking a big one.
Well, 3rd time with the football for Pulaski. They're 1 out of 2. Last time they had the ball, they had to drive. There you see the replay and a nice tackle there.
I didn't get the number either, Chris. Ball is spotted on the 31-yard line.
Could have been Ku Yang, but I'm not sure.
Shotgun formation by Neldner. He gets hit and dropped right around the line of scrimmage. Not much of a gain.
Thought he made a good decision that time. Could have pitched it out to Anderson, but that would not have been such a good move that time. Sometimes you just got to take your lumps and take your losses, and good choice and decision by Neldner, the 5'11", 165-pound senior from Pulaski, Wisconsin.
Kubiak in motion. Hand off to Anderson. He tries to cut it back, trying to scamper through, but good defense played by Brett Watson, keeping a hold. But Anderson did gain some positive yards on that play.
He's been a little bit of a thorn so far, Anderson, at his number 27.
It's going to be 3rd down and 4.
Could be the last play of the quarter, Marty. We click under 30 seconds.
Down to 15. Hand off to Anderson, skips by one tackler, skips by another, and he's back in the open to the 40, to the 30, and knocked down at about the 25-yard line. He's pretty slick.
That'll be the quarter, Marty.
Another big gainer. They're going to spot it at the 27.
That thorn just got a little bit more of a pain.
36-yard run that time. Jeez. And they're going to wind the clock. They're going to let them. They're not going to wind it until they.
Wonder why. He didn't go out of bounds.
1st and 10 at the 27.
Oh, it's that 2-second rule or whatever.
Neldner looking downfield. He's got his wide receiver and chugging into the end zone. That was actually the fullback. Nope, take that back. Number 39, Chuck Kaler on the catch. And he's a load.
Now they're going to end it. And I think we should have rather have had it end before.
Really. There you see it's going to be 1st and goal for Pulaski as we start second quarter action.
Diabetes is a killer. After I was diagnosed, I didn't feel sick, so I didn't listen to my doctor. Then it struck. I had a heart attack, then a stroke, and I was only 49.
People with diabetes are 2 to 4 times more likely to suffer a stroke than people without diabetes, and many who survive are severely disabled.
Don't let diabetes destroy your life.
Learn how to reduce your risk of stroke. Call for your free diabetes survival guide.
Look, my first tooth.
Dudley, spit out the toothpaste. That was the first time you brushed your teeth.
And I brush twice a day, every day.
Oh, here's that nice dentist, Dr. Benchley.
Yep, he showed me how to floss.
Why are your teeth blue?
I use my mouth guard whenever I play sports to protect my smile.
You give it to the big fullback. He's chugging forward. And he's running sideways instead of forward, and they were able to stop him short of the goal line.
More I think about it, Marty, I'm going to question that, why the officials did not start the clock there. There was 2 seconds left. They got a first down. He wasn't knocked out of bounds, so they should have put the ball back in play, started the clock. I'm not sure about that, but what I'm understanding, that should have been the end of the quarter, and that may have cost South about 40 yards on that pass.
Okay, Halsack is the fullback. Look for him to get the ball. He picked up maybe a yard that last time. They give it to him again, and he rumbles into the end zone. Touchdown, Pulaski up 13-0. And a little too easy, Chris, these last 2 drives. Neldner coming in to do the kicking chores. Pardon me. Doing the kicking will be Shane Reinhardt.
Yep.
Reinhardt was the extra point kicker the last time around. Good snap. And that boot is through the uprights. Good, and that makes it 14-0. Pulaski. At some point, we're going to have to start stopping them, Chris.
Well, I said a few moments ago that this game will be in the 30s. The red shirts have got to start scoring then to get it up there into the 30s. I think it's going to be high scoring. A lot of game left.
Anderson in the first quarter, Chris had 87 yards and only 6 carries. Whew. And 100 yards of rushing offense in that first quarter for Pulaski. 400 yard, that's going like a 400-yard clip if they keep that up. That's way too much.
And Noldner, their big 567 yards on the ground and 370 in the air was not much of a damage there.
Had the one completion down to the 2. Handoff to Capitello, trying to cut it back, and great coverage by Pulaski, and Capitello is going to get a hit down at the 15-yard line.
It's tough to run a reverse there because they're so close together. You know, if you catch it and then you'll go from opposite ends, but when you catch it and hand it right off, you have no momentum going forward. So
well, yeah, and they're only about maybe 10 yards. You don't even get your wall set up.
Right, and then by the time you hand it off and pick up speed, that gives a couple extra steps and yards for Pulaski there, and with that, South's going to be pinned on their 15.
Mark Sager is the deep back. Jacob Bristow is at quarterback. Handoff to Sager, and he's hit behind the line of scrimmage. A loss, and great penetration that time by Chuck Kaler, number 39, who made that big catch down on this end, Chris, to get him down in position to score the running touchdown.
Well, if you have a minute, Marty, how many yards did Sager have in the first quarter? And most of it was on that first run.
Yeah, Sager had 51 yards and only 4 carries, but 44 of those came on one tote.
Ouch.
2nd and 12. Going deep.
Monty.
Wilson wide open. He's got it at the 40. Regains his balance. He's over the 50, and he fumbles the ball away. Who's got it? Pulaski saying they do, and so does the official. Tough break for South.
Curtis slipped. And when he slipped, the Pulaski defenders could catch up, and not knowing that they were trailing behind, he didn't tuck it in enough and turned it over in a costly.
Here you're going to see it. He stumbles, and then he regains his balance. He's on his way, but good strip by the defender. Ball spotted on the 38-yard line. Neldner going deep. He's got a receiver out there, but a little too deep. Not able to make the catch. It's going to be 2nd down. That was a tough break.
Should have been a touchdown.
I was going to say if Wilson didn't lose his balance.
Yeah,
right.
Unfortunate for him, he slipped. But that could have been a touchdown for Pulaski. Good play call right off the turnover. I'm going to go right at the South defense. And just a little bit overthrown there.
Quarterback keeps it. Pretty good pursuit by South. Making the stop was Brett Watson. Neldner on the carry. And getting up off the bottom of the pile and limping back to the huddle was Nicholas Hoppuck.
And Reineke there too. Tell you, 3rd down conversions, Pulaski's been really good, and South seems to always have 3rd and longs. Yeah, real long.
Good point. It's going to be 3rd and 6 right here, so pretty long for Pulaski. Kubiak, lone setback. Neldner going deep. He's hit as he throws, and the pass is incomplete. Good pressure that time, put on by Aaron Brown, number 54.
Yes, Pulaski ran that wheel play, Marty, and he was wide open and just not enough air on the ball for him to run under it there. And South got 2 breaks on that drive on passing plays easily with good completions would have been touchdowns.
Here you're going to see it. Hit as he throws, but the man was wide open. No defenders near him.
And a much-needed punt by South.
by Pulaski. Catch is made by Watson, jukes one defender, and then is trips up and is down over the 30-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Red Wings. We have 9:29 remaining in the first half. It's 14-0. Pulaski on top. South trying to generate some offense, Chris.
Well, the turnover didn't hurt him too bad. Just cost you about minute 2 on the clock.
I had that down as a 49-yard pass play, too. I don't know if that's exactly correct, but it was close. Sager trying to get the corner. Good tackle made out there.
Well, you mentioned it, Marty. He's now carried the ball about the last 6 times for about 8 yards, 9 yards after that first big hit. Got to get that running game going, or they're just going to tee off on Jake Risto.
Pick up 2 that time by Sager. 2nd down and 8. Renzelman, the slot receiver on the right. Quick out. Wilson makes the catch and struggles forward just over the 40. It's going to be short of the 1st down, but a nice pass play.
Wilson on the catch. Good hands.
Gain of 6.
He's got now about 38 yards on the 38 catches on the season. About 650 some yards. 6 touchdowns.
3rd and short. And Pulaski jumps into the neutral zone. Matt Solowski.
Thank you very much.
Tag for the penalty.
We'll take it. Homecoming gifts for the South offense.
Ball spotted on the 46-yard line. 1st and 10 South. 8:09 and counting. Renzelman in motion again. First back through, the fullback struggling forward, picks up about 3. Dan Keel on the carry. Second down and 7. Hand off to Sager. He struggles forward for 2, maybe. I tell you, they've really toughened up the defense up the middle, Chris. Pulaski has.
I like the defensive coordinator. Jim Renzelman keeps going to that running game. You got to keep doing that. Of course, he's got Coach Dan Yedis upstairs feeding them information as well. But good choices here. I don't disagree with feeding that run, but eventually, you got to get some bigger gains.
Bristow back, hit as he throws. He's got Wilson out there. He makes the catch at the 20, down to the 10, and he's knocked down inside the 5-yard line.
Wilson!
Great throw by Jacob Bristow under pressure. Holy mackerel.
Well, if you catch the replay, you're right. Outside blitz here. He hung in there, Bristow, and just heaved it up there, and Wilson just ran right by the defender.
There you're going to see Wilson on the top of your screen, goes right by that cornerback and makes the grab. Ball at about the 2-yard line. That was a 47-yard pass play. He's had some big ones this year. Sager, the deep back. Full house backfield for the Red Wings. Sager takes it at the line of scrimmage and does not get in. Picks up maybe a yard.
Got half of it, Marty. Got half of it.
Another case of Pulaski being tough up the middle. But, we've said it before in our broadcasts here. The big plus for South is that big offensive line. Now is when they got to show it. Mano a mano. You got to be the man. Sager to the deep back. Keel the up back. And a whistle. Timeout South. The last time they did this, Chris, it was not pretty. That's when we had the sack, remember? There you see Jamie Berlin.
Is that Mike Rank there?
I think so.
Very important.
Yeah, they got to cut this 14-point deficit down. There's 5:48 remaining until halftime.
There's no question that the coaching staff feels that this is almost a mandatory, touchdown here. This is something you just got to have. Get the momentum back in there, and had some nice plays. But I agree with you, Marty. Those horses have got to now pull the wagons and get that that running back in there. Or Risto.
You used to say this all the time last year. Where has that gone? Pound sand.
Yep, pack sand. Yeah, pound and pack sand right in there. Just pound it.
But maybe run away from that 300-pounder.
It's amazing, Marty. Back in the, 70s, 60s, 300 pounds, who would ever thunk?
If I look back, I don't even know if I have one, but a high school program from when I played, you're lucky if you have 2 or 3 200-pounders.
Yep.
All right. Sager the deep back. They hand it off to him. Tries to get off tackle, and he's hit in the backfield. A great defensive play made.
Can I call the next two
plays? By Wesley Kubiak.
Can I call the next 2 plays?
Yeah. Quarterback sneak.
1. Give it to 1.
3rd and goal. I'll tell you, it's going to be 4-down territory. They will be going for it on 4th down.
Snap it to 1 and let him find a little seam.
Coming in the ball game is Grant Renzelman, number 2. Do we roll out and throw?
I'd be even on a situation here is like a silent count. You in the center. 1.
Risto on the. He does the keeper. It's on a quarterback option to the right, and Risto does keep it and gets it in. Not exactly what Chris was calling for, but we'll take it. South with a touchdown, their first score of the night, and Murray with a chance to cut that 14-point lead in half.
That was big.
That was. And the pad is up and good. That would be point after touchdown. And with 5:04 remaining until halftime, Pulaski on top, 14-7.
Look, my first tooth.
Dudley, spit out the toothpaste. That was the first time you brushed your teeth.
And I brush twice a day, every day.
Oh, here's that nice dentist, Dr. Benchley.
Yep, he showed me how to floss.
Why are your teeth blue?
I use my mouth guard whenever I play sports to protect my smile.
And visit the dentist regularly.
Remember, brush twice a day and floss once a day.
Back at South High School where South trails by 7 now. Big play of that drive was the 47-yard reception down to the 2. Risto to Wilson. Wilson on a great catch and run.
Looking at number 72 for Pulaski, Nevada Skenadori, 280-pound sophomore up in the front here. Wow.
Kick is not deep, taken by Kubiak. He bounces off one tackler and struggles forward to about the 39. You got to hit him and drop him, kiddo.
I was wondering if that was a planned play.
I know what you're saying, because it didn't look like he give it the full boot. He's trying to pooch it or what.
Just too good a field position for
somebody got hurt on the other sideline, Chris. They're sending, I don't think that's Sarah.
No, Margaret Bauer, I think.
1st and 10, ball on the 39-yard line. Just under 5 minutes remaining until halftime. 4:59 on the clock.
I think that's that young man, Hopcott, that you talked about before, Nick, that hobbled off before. I think that's the young man that they're working on.
And battling forward is the big fullback, Christopher Halsack. And he is a load, to say the least. About a 4-yard pickup. Second down and 6. Clock running, 4:25. Give it the first back through. I don't think that was Hallsack to check the numbers on this. Yes, it was. Another good gain by that young man. Picks up about 3. He's going to make it 3rd down and 3.
Sorry about that, Marty. I was going to say Watson again there. Making a lot of stops from that safety spot.
Well, this is a key down. It's 3rd down and 3. Meldner, quarterback. He keeps it on a option play and gets the first down inside South Territory at about the 49.
Well, Aaron Brown read it, had it, and missed it. And
a whiffer.
Yep. He read it correctly, had the quarterback, but couldn't make the stop, and because of that, the first down came in. You know, got there. You just got to, get him down, Aaron. You did everything right except make the stop.
3:30 remaining until halftime. Pulaski on the move. Wide receiver off to the left. Jordan Butcher. Quarterback option. Good tackle made by Watson. No gain that time.
Wow. Tell ya, a couple good safeties in town here. Tanner Dockery on the north side and Brett Watson over here at south. He's all over the field.
And we noticed him a couple games ago too. He made a lot of plays. We were mentioning his name quite often. Watson is a 6 foot, 180-pound senior. He'll be missed next year. 3rd down and 10, 2:40 and counting, remaining until halftime. Little pop pass over the middle. Catch is made. And they're going to have another first down to the 35. Making that catch was Chuck Kaler. And he was a receiver on that play down at the end zone over here, Chris. So they like his number.
Boy, he's a big target, big tight end. And once again, they had him bottled up, but they let him go and gained about 6 yards that he probably shouldn't have had.
That was a 14-yard pickup, actually, total. Another man in motion. First back through is the fullback. He cuts it back. He's down to the 20, the 10, the 5, and into the end zone. Good cutback move by Hallsack. Got him into the end zone. They're heading off to the right. He cut it back to the left and was virtually untouched going to the end zone. 35-yard run, pardon me. And just too much, Chris. That hurts. 2:03 remaining.
Well, they converted that 3rd down play before, Marty. And they could have got to Noldner. And
Reinhardt's kick is good. And with 2:03 remaining, it's 21-7 Pulaski. There you see the end of that cutback move for the score. South certainly has the offense to come back, Chris, but they still got to do it on defense.
Well, 3rd down conversions is the name of the game for Pulaski. They've converted a bunch here in this first half, and they get those extra chances. They have more opportunity to score, and they're converting those chances into touchdowns, and they lead by 2 scores with 2 minutes left.
What surprises me, Chris, is the number of times they've thrown the ball. You know, they've looked to throw quite a bit more than I thought they would.
I thought the same thing, Marty. Now you're in danger zone. If you're south, I guess it all depends on field position. You know, You gonna throw, try to score, or are you gonna, be a little bit more conservative? You throw in an interception, Pulaski may have a chance to get another score before half. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Hine and Coach Renzelman decide to do here. I think it'll depend on the return.
Neldner on the kick, squibs down, picked up at the 12-yard line by Capitello. And he's not going to get around the corner. He's going to get dropped inside the 20 again.
He's finding out that
it's not always as easy it might seem that first one.
What is going on, he's saying. Boy, this game seemed a lot easier a couple weeks ago. Last month or so, it's been a little tougher.
Chris, you bring up a good point, especially since they're back deep in their own territory. A turnover here could be disastrous. 1:57 remaining, South down 14, 21-7.
What I also don't like is the fact that Pulaski has all 3 timeouts here.
Sager tripped going through the line, only picked up a couple of yards.
If I'm Pulaski, I'm calling the timeouts. But they're not.
They don't want to get greedy.
Oh, I would. Man, you had 1:49. You just ran off 20 seconds here. Got them deep in their territory.
Clock running, 1:30. Renzelman in motion. Quick out to him. We've seen that play. There's the good block that we wanted the first time where Wilson got the penalty. But short of the first down, it's going to be 3rd down.
Now the clock stopped.
He may have gone out of bounds, Chris. Not sure. Pickup of about 6 on that play.
Third and 3. Oh,
Risto looking. He's got a receiver. Good touch pass, but just over the head of Renzelman. Incomplete. Eldner on the coverage. Probably there almost could have been a penalty on that, eh, Chris?
I agree. Well out of play, out of bounds, and a little shove. And with a $1:15 left here, Pulaski is going to get the ball back.
South punting. Wilson's kick is away. Catch is made on the 47. They're going to have great field position with just over a minute left.
Well, that's what I was afraid of. If you put the ball up, now they have 3 timeouts left. And, if I was Pulaski, I would have been calling timeouts before. But still way too much time for Pulaski. 1:04, 3 timeouts left.
Only 41 yards out, and the big fullback, Halsack, has been a threat from even deep.
Yeah, I watched for Kaler, number 39 here. Wow.
First back through. Now is Kubiak on a nice run.
I don't know what they're doing here. They got all these timeouts left.
2nd down, under a minute. Ball on the 36. Fake. Neldner looking deep. He's got a receiver who's open, making the catch, and is down at about the 5-yard line. And the official signals timeout.
Same play as before, Marty. The same wheel play, Marty.
Butcher, I believe that was on the reception.
I think it was it him or Anderson? Oh, boy.
1st and goal.
Oh, boy. Got to have you here, Red.
You see the play, but we're going to go back to live action. Anderson taking it wide, and he's into the end zone. There's still 19 seconds left. Anderson on a sweep takes it from 5 yards out and scores again. That was his first carry of the 2nd quarter, Chris.
Just what I was afraid of, Marty. Just what I was afraid of. That last score. Oh, boy.
Well, the defense has not stepped up tonight. Kick is up and good. And with 19 seconds remaining until halftime, Pulaski with a huge lead, 28-7.
Parents, there's something you can do to protect your kids from drugs and alcohol. Combine ground beef with egg, tomato sauce, breadcrumbs, and spices. Bake in an oven-safe pan at 350 for 50 minutes. Serve hot.
This is Jamie Lee Curtis. Children who eat dinner with their families are less likely to smoke, drink, or use drugs. So, have dinner together every day.
Delicious.
A message from CASA, the National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse at Columbia University.
Well,
not
what do you
we
say?
wanted. Yeah. Get that offense rolling here, Marty. You're going to get the ball to start the second half, and you're going to get about 6 or 7 chances with it. You better score 5 of them or 4 of them at least. So come out, we're getting the ball, and we're going to score. That's what I'm telling my boys at halftime, and got to stop their offense. You said it before, Marty. They've been good. I'm impressed with the third down conversions, and I was afraid of giving Pulaski the ball back.
Well,
with such good field position.
Even on plays where the passes were incomplete, the receivers were wide open. Capitello takes it at the 12, gets it out over the 20, over the 30 before he's cut down. A good return that time by Brendan, taking it right up the field. It's going to be 1st and 10 South with 13 seconds remaining. Sager and Keel in the backfield. Bristow straight back, rolling, fires deep. Renzelman is interfered with, and that actually is probably not a bad play. Keep him from breaking open and getting a long gainer. I think it's just a 15-yard penalty in this instance, and now there's only going to be 6 seconds remaining. It's not like in pro football where it goes down to the point of the infraction.
Yeah, that was trying to get it to Wilson there, and I think he tried to help him out as much as possible to get the penalty because it was way underthrown. 6 ticks on the clock yet. I think I've mentioned this before. If I'm defense here, I got like 3 guys in the end zone. I would not even give them a chance. These guys who bump and run and do all this stuff, sometimes I wonder, I got my guys back.
Well, if it's a pass play similar to the last one, Chris, this will be the last play of the half. Flag is down. Bristow throws one deep into double coverage, and not able to make the catch was Neldner.
You're going to get a hold on South, so that'll be the half, Marty.
And that was the final play, you're right. At halftime, homecoming 2008 for South High School, it's Pulaski 28, South 7.
Congratulations on the promotion.
I hope you're saving the extra money.
You gotta put it in stocks.
If you want to get ahead.
No, buns.
And CDs.
Way to go.
Always
flattering,
Stick it under the mattress.
Getting plenty of advice, but not enough facts? Visit saveandinvest.org. No confusing advice, no sales pitch. Just unbiased information and tools to help you manage your money with confidence. Saveandinvest.org.
We all want the same thing. Peace. And Rotary clubs are making it happen. Through international scholarships for young people to promote peace and understanding around the world. Rotary. Humanity in motion.
Nuclear weapons materials stored in laboratories and other facilities. Some protected by just a chain link fence. Terrorists are trying to steal these materials to make a nuclear bomb and attack us here. We need to stop them at the source by locking down the materials. There is something you can do to protect America. Visit saferworld.org. Be part of stopping a catastrophe before it happens.
Back at South High School, where Pulaski leads the Red Wings 28-7. We do have some halftime stats. South totaled out with 173 total yards, 59 of those rushing, but they had 44 yards on the first run of the game, which means they only gained 12 yards in the next 15 carries. On the passing side, Risto was 5 for 9 for 114 yards, and of those, Curtis Wilson had 3 catches for 102 yards. For Pulaski, big number 99, their 240-pound fullback, Christopher Halsack, had 56 yards and 7 carries. And Derek Anderson, number 27, had 92 yards and only 7 carries. Pulaski had 245 yards, Chris, 158 of those on the ground, 87 passing. Neldner was 4 for 6 for 87 yards. The big catches were made by Chuck Kaler, number 39. He had 39 yards in receptions. And Butcher had that big one right at the end of the half that put him in scoring position at the 5-yard line. That was a 31-yard reception.
Oh,
you got some time of possession stats.
Well, I was going to say time of possession is basically even. Pulaski 12-14. So it's not that way. I said the third down conversions, and Marty looked it up. He said 3 of the converted third downs by
they were
Pulaski.
3 for 5.
Yeah, and they scored each time they did that. Boy, that rushing total, Marty, is just not good. Air it out, South. Air it out.
Capitello had it inside the 20 and gets it outside the 30. So South is going to have decent field position to start the second half, and the offense can do it, but the defense is what needs to step up.
Yeah, nice job by the band, too. Just a comment about their halftime. They will be going to Florida in the spring, and there's Coach Hine and the staff, and they had a nice halftime homecoming thing. Very well received by the audience here. And
do they need any chaperones?
But they'll be going there in spring.
Quick pass to Wilson is made, and he's dropped at about the 39-yard line.
Wilson! I don't think they can stop our receivers. And Wilson's a little slow getting up. Score from the north side of town at halftime. North 0, Bayport 14. We'll be at North in 2 weeks.
Second down and about 4. Handoff. This is not Sager. Oh. Hit down hard was Alec Lang, number 23.
Could almost call it unnecessary roughness there on number 39. Chuck Kaler really hit Risto, and he didn't even have the ball, Marty. I mean, it wasn't like it was an option or anything. It was a straight handoff, and that one there, it's a little bit on the close side there of unnecessary.
Third down and 2, Lang the deep back. Long snap count by Risto. Now he goes. First back through is hit right over the line of scrimmage. I think he's going to be short. They won't have the first down.
Well, you mentioned it, Marty. 44 yards on the first carry, 13 after that, and 15 carries. And that one wasn't too good either. And with that, South's going to punt. They had 2 punts in the first half. Both teams did.
Fourth down. 2 deep for Pulaski. And just missing the block Just missing the block was big Mark Beck, 6'4", 220 pounds. And the return man gets stopped at about the 39, so it's going to be 1st and 10 Pulaski from there. You're going to see big number 89. Ooh.
And not the start you wanted for South. 7 points would have been much better.
Butcher on that return.
Still question that call at the end of the first quarter with 2 seconds left, why the officials never put the ball back in play. It was not out of bounds. And boy, they got that big play and momentum and that lucky catch that bounced. A lot of different things fell Pulaski's way, but I tell you, the defense got to do a much better job here in the second half.
Nyquist on the carry. Picks up 3 yards. Second down for Pulaski. 28-7, Pulaski with a big 21-point second quarter. South had scored after the first second quarter touchdown by Pulaski to cut the lead to 14-7, but from that point on, Kubiak on the carry gets stacked behind the line of scrimmage.
Good job there. Aaron Brown.
Loss on the play makes it 3rd down.
Here it comes again, Marty. 3rd down.
Well, we had just mentioned that every time Pulaski converted a 3rd down, they went on to score a touchdown. And one of those conversions happened late in the first quarter that led to an early second quarter score, and then 2 more later in the second quarter. Good rush by South. They can't get the quarterback down. Now he slips one tackler.
Oh, boy.
And gets it over the 50-yard line. Max Neldner with the nice carry. They had a shot at him. They clipped him twice in the backfield, but couldn't get him down. There you're going to see it. Good penetration from the outside. There's once, there's twice, and then he slips a tackler and gets belted out of bounds. Ball is spotted on the 47-yard line.
Should never have happened.
Boy, oh boy. 12-yard pickup, Chris. Jeez.
That's unfortunate.
First back through. Wesley Kubiak. Picks up maybe a yard. Second down and long. Give him a no gainer on that, Chris. Well, we could really use a stop here. Man in motion. Fake to the first back through that little pop pass again. And Kaler makes the catch inside the 40. He has been a load. Chuck Kaler on the catch.
Nice one-handed grab out of there. Have him do the your jump balls in the winter.
I don't think he jumps that good.
Watch this one-handed snag, Marty.
Yeah, boy, and he's wide open too. Jeepers.
3rd and a little bit.
Pick up a 9, makes it 2nd and 1. Give it to the big fullback, Hallsack, and he gets stacked up after he gained the first down.
That's what you have 220-pound running backs for.
You were right, it was 3rd down, wasn't it? Darn, that's 2 of those. First down.
And unfortunately, the clock is continuing to roll while you are trailing by 3 touchdowns. You need the ball.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I grind it out like this. It just chews up the clock. Under 7 minutes remaining. Neldner makes the pass, and the catch is made downfield. I didn't catch a number of that receiver. I almost think it was number 28, Chris, but we don't have a 28 on our program.
22.
22 on the catch.
Well, let's watch it here.
Okay, here we go. It's going to be 1st and 10 again. Ball on the 25, 11-yard pickup on that last play.
Now I'm going to go back to the run.
Oh, making a nice run downfield for Pulaski was Ryan Nyquist. Too much.
6:30 and counting. Flag though, we got one.
Ooh,
we got
that could stop the drive.
I believe it's a legal movement or an illegal shift on Pulaski.
Well, a 5-yarder before the play will negate that pass completion. It's going to remain 1st down, but now it's going to be 1st and 15. Ball on the 31.
Just a reminder now, we are channel
WSCS Sheboygan.
95 and 990, I believe.
That was Hallsack again, dragging players downfield. Picks up about 9.
And Pulaski's just got to love this drive. The coaches are just, loving this. We have a 3 TD lead. Taking the ball at the 10:07. We've almost marched 5 minutes. We're going down the field. We still have the ball.
Nyquist on the carry, gets cut down near the 20-yard line. Gonna be short of the 1st down. Another 3rd down, Chris.
Oh boy.
The kiss of death, eh?
They've converted a bunch tonight. Now what are they, 5 for now 7?
3rd down and about 5.
You can just see the South coaching staff talking and wondering. And
on the sweep, not getting the 1st down was the running back.
All right.
That was Anderson on that carry. Ball is at the 21-yard line, and they're going to go for it, Chris.
Come on, defense. This is where the students have to quit talking to each other and get them all fired up. You need a stop. It's 4th down.
Nyquist in motion. Fake.
Hey.
Meltner slipped by 1 tackler, but not the next 3, and he gets sacked back at about the 24-yard line.
Well, the 5.5-minute drive there gets stalled, Marty, which is good, and South takes over, desperately needing the ball, and they have it.
In a way, it's a victory for Pulaski because they ran off so much clock. 1st and 10. First back through is Lang. Picks up a couple. Well, Sager's been their main running back all year. I see him standing on the sideline, so he isn't hurt. That's a good thing.
We got to pick this up a little bit here. More through the air. You need to do more through the air. One reason is it's your strength, and the second reason, incomplete passes stop the clock, Marty.
Good point. 2nd and 8. Bristow looking, his pass was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Goes incomplete, intended for for Wilson. Bristow 1 for 2 in the quarter. It's 3rd and 8. Here you're going to see it. Watch it get tipped at the line of scrimmage. Drops back, looks, boom. I didn't catch the number of that young man on the end of the line, but it was a good defensive play. Very alert. Trips to the right. Lone wide receiver off to the left. Risto looking, stepping up, throws deep. Wilson making the adjustment and makes the catch. No, they're ruling it incomplete at about the 45-yard line. Looked like he had it, Chris.
Good line protection there. I agree with you, Marty.
Made a nice adjustment, just not able to quite make the catch.
Let's see it on the replay, Marty. I'd like to know for sure here.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Wilson not arguing, so that pretty much seals the deal. Butcher, one of the deep men for Pulaski, and a whistle. Looked like they were going for the fake, Chris. That ball went right to Jake Rissy.
And then a timeout.
I would have rather have seen the fake punt on the first possession when they only had 4th and 1, rather than 4th and 8.
Oh boy.
There was a timeout called, maybe not. Both teams are showing with all 3 timeouts on top.
Well, that was a South timeout there, and boy, just not what I expected. I expected high-scoring game, but I expected both teams to have the high score. Now they're going to probably straight punt it.
That close.
And a high snap and a
high kick. Everybody's saying get away from it.
Look at this.
Oh, they got a great bounce. It'll be a 15-yard punt.
12
to the 40. It's a
call timeout. You don't have the thing right, and then you get a punt because it's high. It just
one thing after another.
If it could get worse, it did.
1st and 10, ball on the 40. Actually, according to my last down mark, I had them at the 13, so that officially was a 13-yard punt.
All right, 28-yard line it was. I thought they were on.
Okay. Well, I'm going to argue about numbers. I had 27.
Oh, that way,
You
okay.
say potato, I say potato.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I thought you said it was on the 13, not 13.
Yeah, no, 13-yard punt.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, back to action. Fake to the first back. Neldner keeps it and gets wickedly hit at the 35. Picks up 5 yards, however. He paid for that run. 2nd down. And they're right back to running the ball, Chris, and chewing up the clock. There's 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. This has been a very swift 3rd quarter.
And the unfortunate thing is South's only had the ball for 3 minutes.
Yeah, they've definitely run more than twice as many plays as South in the quarter. Oh, equipment repair. Lone running back is Kubiak. Neldner keeps it again and is not going to gain anything on that option play. It's going to be 3rd down. Chris doesn't like these 3rd down plays because Pulaski has been getting too many 1st downs on 3rd down. Aaron Brown in there, along with Watson. Neldner straight back. Hit as he throws. The catch is made by Butcher. He's got some room to run. Avoids one tackler. He's going to go to the end zone. Not good tackling that time. They had a shot at stopping him, but he broke the tackle, and that's all she wrote.
Oh, boy.
35-yard touchdown reception by Butcher. And Neldner is 3 for 3 in the quarter, Chris. There, you get a good shot. Good shot there, Eric. On that. Reinhardt has been perfect all night and is again. With 1:57 remaining in the 3rd, Pulaski in a rout winning 35-7.
What do triglycerides or trigs have to do to get noticed? Normal triglycerides are below 150. High triglycerides increase your risk of heart disease. And if you're a woman, that risk goes up even more. After standing in the shadows of good and bad cholesterol, triglyceride, also known as the forgotten fat, is ready to share the spotlight and the attention. Remember to ask your doctor about the good, the bad, and the forgotten fat. And remember, normal triglycerides are under 150.
This message brought to you by Sister to Sister, working together for healthy hearts.
Next week, WSCS TV Sports will not be on the air. We have no football game to broadcast. And then on the 23rd of October, 2 weeks from tonight, actually 2 weeks from yesterday night, that last high school game will be on a Thursday night. East will visit Sheboygan North. Chris will be doing that game as it stands right now with Tom Grams, I believe.
Hopefully, yep.
And then on November 8th, we'll be out at Lakeland. Chris and I will be working the Concordia at Lakeland game. That would be Concordia Mequon. Ball taken on the 14-yard line by Lang. Pardon me, that wasn't Lang, that was Rupnick. And he gets it up near the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 for South.
Well, when we play Lakeland, that is, against Concordia, there might be some familiar names on that Concordia sidelines. With some Sheboygan.
Jacob Pfeiffer playing on that team?
And I think his dad's doing a little coaching there too.
1st and 10, ball spotted right on the 30. Wilson and Renzelman split off to the right. Pass goes to Renzi. Now that is tackling, Chris.
Yep.
Right there. That was a very nice play made by that young man. Race Neldner.
And I like that play call too. That's where Renzelman really gets to, get out there and move. That's a good play call, but
goes for 1 yard.
Sometimes the defense is better.
Yeah, they were that time. 2nd down and 9. 5 wide receivers. Fake to Capitello, and Risto keeps it. Little play off of that run they did in the first half, so they're trying to mix it up.
I like that. I would have started that in the last series. For one thing, it spreads them out, and Risto can use his feet. The rest of the running game hasn't been anything, so you might as well get as many plays as you can off that multiple receiver set and use your weapon, Risto. But unfortunately, I think it's going to be a little too late.
Pass out to Rupnick is incomplete.
Might as well go for it, boys.
Might as well.
But they're not gonna.
44 seconds remaining.
Or are they? I don't know what's going on. They got a whole bunch of groups in and out, so.
They are going for it.
Yep.
Coming on the field late is Grant Woodland. And
Pulaski's discombobulated, so they call timeout.
Talk about discombobulated. How about Wisconsin last week?
Last 2 weeks.
Well, I was talking about that one play when they.
Oh, the last one?
Yeah, against Ohio State when they got it down at about the 5 or 6. And
4 linebackers in the middle?
Yeah.
And they didn't run up the middle. It's 2 weeks in a row that Bucky, 5 points could easily have a different situation on their season. But, boy, they sure didn't clutch up when they had to. And, it's very unfortunate. It can really turn your season. When things are going bad, it just gets worse. And then all of a sudden you look on the schedule, and here comes the 6th-ranked team into your house. Yeah. And Penn State's playing as good as anybody in the Big Ten. And they win this game. They got a chance to win that championship.
Penn State, you mean?
Yep. Yeah. But I was disappointed last weekend, Marty. Within 18 hours, the Badgers get eliminated from the Big Ten championship. The Brewers get eliminated from the playoffs, and the Packers are basically toast. It's going to make for a long winter.
That's why I'm a Bear fan. They were the only local team that won because the Sox also lost out along with the Cubs.
Yeah, I know we talked about it last Friday night that I was hoping for the 0-6, but 1-6 is okay. Chicago swept up and out of here. I don't think anybody wants to win the NFC North.
Shane Feustel came off the field, Chris. I hope he's not injured. He's sitting on the bench below us. Looks like he might be repairing his helmet. 4th down. Risto looking, he's rushed hard, can't get away, and he's sacked back inside or right near the 25-yard line.
Well, they tried to go the opposite way that time, Marty, with Andrew Walter, the other tight end. You had Renzelman and Wilson on the right. They kind of put Walter to the left, and Jacob had no place to go there, and with 38 seconds left here, Pulaski can stick it to him again.
Yeah, and the way they've been moving the ball, they're going to also.
1-4 in league. Like I said, they lost 2 games by a point. North in overtime and De Pere last week.
Neldner still at quarterback. Fake handoff, trying to get, he eludes one tackler on a really good move, and now he's off and running. He's going to get into the end zone. He just went right through the middle of that South defense like a knife through butter. Holy cow.
We're going to have a fast 4th quarter, Marty.
25-yard run, Max Neldner. Easily his longest run of the night.
And he was the one we were worried about tonight. But
yep.
35-point rule is going to be coming into play here. I had no idea that this was coming tonight.
No, me either.
I thought it'd be very high scoring, up and down, back and forth, and the Red was going to win. Unfortunately, it may be the Red Raiders.
There you see him cut back and just put on a burst of speed and got into the end zone. That was really a nice run by that young man. Drumline is the only thing on the south side making noise tonight.
Oh.
Other than your erstwhile announcers. Steve Reiner on the top camera giving you that shot. Eric Wiesman running the field camera. Scott Mieloff, I gotta see it, spinning the dials in the truck. Punching the buttons just doesn't sound right. For my partner, Chris Wright, I'm Mike Martin, and we're more than pleased. Even though we're getting whooped, we're more than pleased to be bringing you high school football.
Yes, I am. I don't like these Fridays off, but let me tell you, Marty, you're not going to need 2 discs tonight because
he's talking about recording the game.
Yeah,
on
because this 4th quarter is going to be gone in about 17, 18 minutes unless South can get a quick score.
Rupnick from the 10. And gets it out to the 24, 14-yard return. And a penalty at the end, and there's been some jawing going on. And, it's between a South player and a Pulaski player because the South guys aren't yelling at each other. And leaving the vicinity was Andy Tarasinski.
Well, they're going to toss them both.
Unsportsmanlike, on South, unsportsmanlike, on Pulaski. And we'll just leave the ball where it was and go from there. That's the end of the quarter, Chris. At the end of 3 quarters of play, Pulaski 42, South 7.
The most dangerous thing
our kids have to deal with today
isn't violence.
It isn't drugs, it's unhealthy food.
Too many of our kids are overweight.
They're headed for diabetes, heart problems, or worse.
They need to eat healthy things like vegetables, fruits, high-fiber vegetarian foods.
As our kids grow, the right foods can help protect them from obesity, heart problems, diabetes, and even cancer. To find out more, call for a free booklet or visit our website, kidsgethealthy.org.
Here we go, Marty.
-1 yard rushing for South. Woo! In that 3rd quarter, the killer was the 11-yard sack on Risto. It's going to be 1st and 10. Red Wings ball on the 25-yard line. They trail it by 35, which means a running clock. Bristow back, looking, wheels one deep. Renzelman makes the catch on the 41-yard line.
They got to hurry now.
1st and 10.
There's no time to wait because they're gonna. It just keeps going. There's no stopping the clock for first downs or anything else. It's a good rule. WIA came up with it a couple years back.
34-yard reception, Chris. 3 wide receivers off to the right, 2 to the left. Risto alone, Capitello, and we got the left tackle moving a little too quickly. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty on the south side.
Well, this will be the last time we come to South this year, Marty. Seems like we just started the season, and
yeah, this has really flown by. You're right.
Fortunately, they have,
what's kind of amazing is we've got 1, 2, 3 more weeks left, but only 2 games.
Be nice if we can alternate weeks in the conference from now on.
Capitello in motion, fake to him. Risto taking it right up the middle. He gets hit and dropped at about the 36. 10-yard pickup. 2nd and 5.
Well, they're not just up at the line. They're trying to hurry up as quickly as possible, but we're under 10:30 now and counting.
Keel alone set back. 2 wide receivers, left and right. Risto rolling, looking. Nice pass to Wilson. He makes the catch and is dropped at about the 25-yard line.
Wilson!
Spotted on the 25, an 11-yard pickup.
You like this keeping stats, don't you?
I am moving, man. I am moving. Shotgun formation for Risto. Big rush, hit as he throws. He got dumped hard. And Wilson making a great attempt, but couldn't make the catch. Risto bounced back up, but Wilson is down in the end zone. He hurt himself.
Well, when Jacob's watching us tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, and every time he moves on the couch and he feels a little pain, he'll remember some of these hits.
He just got barreled in that backfield. It's surprising he bounced up as good as he did. Number 19, Jeff Rupnick trotting in. They had 1 pass attempt to him in the first half. Nine minutes remaining in the ball game. Clock running. Chris mentioned that before. Renzelman in motion. Deep pass to Rupnick. He's open, and he makes the catch.
Hey,
Jeff Rupnick.
That'll stop the clock.
They threw at him once in the first half. This time they hooked up with a long touchdown play. I'll tell you, Risto's got a good arm, Chris. Maybe he should do some chucking for the south side.
I think he will.
The kick is up and good by Murray. And with 8:46 remaining, the score is 42 Pulaski, 14 South.
If you give me a fish.
If you give someone a fish,
you feed them for a day.
Teach someone to fish.
You feed them for a lifetime.
Give me a fish, and you'll feed me for a day. Teach me to fish, and you'll feed me for a lifetime.
Through Volunteers of America, you can help change lives in your community.
Well, showed that. South has shown that explosiveness that we've seen throughout the season. The problem is the defense is just not getting her done.
I know one player doesn't make a difference or anything, but losing Brent, losing Brent Jacobs early on. I mean, he was an impact force, and he came out of that spot there, and I mean, he was the guy that would make some of those big sacks or big hits and stop the run game. And when you lose 2 or 3 of those, linebackers, that does hurt.
It's not just his performance on the field, it's his leadership out there too.
Absolutely, and it's got to be tough for that young man. How about an onsider?
And Pulaski has it. Would have been short of the 10 yards, but
it's fun to watch.
Is that Halsack making the...
Wish there was a little more bouncing and stuff instead of just a big horse gobbling it up there.
Well, Pulaski with great field position. They're going to take it on the south side of the 49.
You know what Pulaski hasn't done all night? Turned it over.
Good point. Actually, we've only had 1 turnover all game. Was Wilson's fumble after the long catch.
They should have.
Oh, man, right through the middle is Kubiak, and he finally gets knocked down inside the 25-yard line. Gosh.
Should have had that interception. That early on in that second drive by Pulaski, the bounce off a couple of South players, which led to the first score. But I'll tell you, some of these guys, you're right, Marty, they're just marching, going right down the field.
25 yards on that play. Cry.
Yeah, your offense scores, and you go out there and let's show a little pride here on homecoming, and your seasons are coming to an end. You'd think you'd want to leave a lasting impression.
Hand off, I believe that was Nyquist on the carry. It was. Not much for him on that play. A gain of maybe 1.
8 minutes. Down by 4 scores.
Yeah, we certainly didn't think this was going to happen, did we? And I think a lot of our thoughts on the game were predicated on the North game, that they had beaten Pulaski. But you're right, these teams have improved as the season went along, especially Pulaski. Kubiak gets it down near the 15-yard line. Third down and 1.
That Derek Anderson, Marty's just a sophomore.
Jeez.
I was just looking how many of these guys are going to be back for Pulaski. Good share of their weapons are seniors, but that Derek Anderson showed some good moves there.
Give it off to the big fullback. He gets knocked down at about the line of scrimmage. I don't think he got the first down.
Boy, there's plays like that, Marty, where you see all that swarming, and then there's other things where it just too many big plays. Just 4th and 1 here.
Yep. I'll tell you the difference, Chris, as I look and think about the game has been the tackling. Pulaski's a good tackling team. South has had opportunities, but they're just not getting the ball carrier down the way they need to. Halsack, lone setback. In motion is Kubiak. Halsack gets the first down inside the 15-yard line.
Oh, they're gonna. Are they gonna move him? Yipper.
Yep.
That'll put us well under 6 minutes.
First down and 10. Coming into the huddle late is Jake Vanderloop. He's taking over at quarterback. And they have some other running backs in there too, Chris. Oh, that man's going to break loose. Oh, he gets tackled. Not much of a gain. Good tackle made on the wing by Travis Arns.
It's James Anderson with the ball. Wonder if he's related to the other Anderson. There's like a whole bunch of brothers. Noldner.
Just want to make sure I pronounce that guy's name right. Aaron's that was.
Kubiaks.
What was the number of that ball carrier?
That was James Anderson, number 36.
This is the other thing that makes it tough with the stat team when you get 18 different running backs carrying the ball.
They're going to give it to a different one, Marty.
Up the middle, but good line play that time by South, stacking it up in the middle.
That was 40, Giesler. You got him yet?
No, we don't have his number down.
I don't think he'll be a stat-changing performer.
Lost it 2 that time by Giesler. It's going to be 3rd and 10. Ball back on the 14. 4:35 remaining in the ball game. Pulaski on top, 42-14. They broke the game open with a 21-point second quarter. And like Chris had mentioned, it was 3rd down conversions in the first half that led to 3 touchdowns. Quarterback has it.
Running for his life.
Gotcha.
Okay, so this is what it feels like.
Let's start handing it off, Coach. I don't like this kind of running.
Well, that running for you young players, you notice how he was running? Straight up and down.
Brad Muster. Are they going to kick a field goal here? Clock running, and they are going to give it a shot.
Why not? 30-yarder, 31-yarder.
Reinhardt out of the hold of Max Neldner. They're letting the clock run down. I think they're going to call a timeout just before they get the penalty. And that's what they do. Well, Chris, I don't want to be a sore loser, but is this a bad move by Pulaski?
No.
Jack on points?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that touchdown at the end of the first half, South had the ball with 2 minutes left. They had to punt within a minute, and they drove down and got that score.
Did it take them less than a minute to get that score?
Oh, yeah. It took them 45 seconds, and that made it from a 2-score game to a 3-score game. And, boy, the scoreboard didn't look as achievable as when you went in. I think this is okay.
Good snap. Kick is good.
I'm impressed.
Oh, Reinhardt with a beauty. And that makes it 45-14. That was impressive. How far do you have that one?
31 yards.
31
and more importantly, they took 5 minutes and 29 seconds off the clock, Marty.
Now, you had mentioned at the half, the time of possession was pretty even, but as I look at my third quarter sheet, it's almost all Pulaski. I think they had more than twice as many plays in the third quarter, and they have more plays here in the fourth quarter so far. So time of possession has to be in a big way favoring Pulaski in the second half.
Absolutely. We'll figure that out in a minute. And while we have a break here, congratulations to the Sheboygan North-South golf teams. They qualified for the state tournament, as well as the Sheboygan North girls tennis team for ending a streak from the, I think, 1994. And so good luck to both those squads. As I said, girls golf and girls tennis at North, and the North-South golf team qualify for the state tournament.
Kick is away. Rupnick taking it at the 10-yard line. Showing good speed. Oh, but a nice tackle made. He's dropped at the 24-yard line. 3:11 remaining. Ball spotted on the 24-yard line where South will take possession. Bristow still at the controls. for the Red Wings. A lot of wide receivers in there. One of the new numbers is Riley Tudis, number 42. Tudis is the wide man on the left side. In motion, Capitello. Fake handoff to him. Bristow hit as he throws, and pass is incomplete, but I'll tell you, Wilson got nailed as the ball was in the air. Why isn't that pass interference?
You know why that's uncatchable is because he couldn't get anywhere near it, Marty.
Jeez.
You got a situation there to grab the flag. I understand it's uncatchable, but he didn't have a chance to even run after it. He would have been right there. He would have been right there. I'm not saying he's going to make the catch, but good grief, that's just automatic. That you could just take pot shots at a wide receiver all day. Look at that. Are you going to tell me he can't in 2 seconds run 10 yards? The ball's up there?
There we go. Bristow's out. We got a new quarterback in the ball game. Run up the middle by Keel. Our new quarterback is Jake Rissy. Second down. No gain on that play.
Yeah, Pulaski had the ball almost 8 minutes in that third quarter, Marty. 8 of the 12.
Pass is complete to Rupnick. Rissy with his first completion of the night. He's going to make it third down.
Now South's getting a little frustrated. Pulaski player, Kyle Kubiak with the first shot, but they're going to get Renzi on the second shot. They're losing his cool, but I got to be honest with you. You know what? They took a big shot over there on them on that pass, and then you don't call a penalty. And then you wonder why you get the unsportsmanlike here. And that's just wrong. Officials let this one get out. I know the scoreboard's done, but there's still young men hitting each other out there. Kubiak took a shot, and then Wilson took the next one, and they got it on him.
And here you saw Chris Hine talking to Curtis Wilson. Curtis frustrated, you're right. In the ball game now is Andrew Walter, number 88. You get a good shot of Rissy, number 14. It's going to be third down, and they still haven't sorted out. Its holding is declined on South. Unsportsmanlike conduct is accepted. That's on South. So multiple penalties on the Southsiders, and that's going to back the ball down inside the 20-yard line. Ooh, all the way down to the 13.
Well, here you get a situation, too, where a lot of these seniors have a lot of pride. And, you know, season's not over, but your chances or your hopes for a playoff berth are done. And tough one to take. And a late South player coming on, and he's not going to make it. Oh, boy.
Murray's kick is away and bounces out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Murray took over the punting chores, Chris, for Wilson, and that was part of the reason why he was late getting in. Illegal substitution on South. And that penalty is declined. Pulaski will take over with 2:04 left in the ball game. There you see him spotting it right on the 40-yard line. We'll do a quick wrap-up after this one. Not a whole lot to talk about for the South side. Vanderloop still at quarterback. Gives it to Joe Geisler, number 40. Picks up a couple on that. Clock running. Well, Chris, a bummer.
Yeah, our streak continues too with losses. We were red hot at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, we ran off 3 in a row, and now we've lost 3 in a row. That puts WSCS Sheboygan at 3-3 on the season. And I'm hoping that you and Mr. Grams can bring home a victory when you have East at South on October 23rd. Why'd they close that door? Now it's hard to see the scoreboard. 1:25 remaining. Vanderloop on the keeper. He breaks through the line of scrimmage. He might go for a touchdown here. He's knocked down inside the 10-yard line. Ay, ay, ay.
Boy, he just wants, that's...
It could get worse, but I don't think so.
That's just your dream. Oh, get in the game here and get a chance to score.
I got that as a 30-yard pickup.
Another whole bunch of guys out there.
Lots of big plays.
Pulaski.
First and goal on the 8. Clock running. Nope. 1:12 is left in the ball game. It'll start on the snap of the ball. Running back struggles forward for a couple.
James Lancer, 52 on the stop. He's out there. Michael Pugh, I think, is out there.
Pick up a maybe 1.
Still battling.
Second and goal.
Travis Aarons.
James Anderson, 36 on that last carry. Chris had mentioned his name. Also in the backfield for them is Kyle Santee, number 13. And he barrels forward down to about the 2. Check that Geisler on the carry.
Now here, Marty, is where you don't stick one in.
17, 16, 15.
Don't you dare run a play.
Coach is telling him not to run, and Vanderloop will not go under center. He'll let the clock run out. And that'll do it. Final score here at South High for homecoming 2008 is a real disappointment for the Southsiders. They lose it 45-14. And Chris, let's do a quick wrap up of the ball game. Your impressions of Pulaski, first of all, because they do have a shot at the playoffs.
Yeah, they do. I think it's a long shot, though, but can't believe this is a team that, basically had won one conference game all year. Their offense really played well and good balance on running and throwing, and they got some breaks. They had that early break with the deflection and some big plays and got the job done, I'll say that. For Sheboygan South, for me, it was just a, very disappointing effort and allowed those big plays, and not, I think, what they expected. And I don't think
kind of a bugaboo for South throughout the season defensively, allowing the big play. They've given up a lot of, long running plays especially.
Yeah.
Well, Chris doesn't have much to say. I know I don't have much to say, surprisingly. For the crew and my partner Chris Wright, I'm Mike Martin saying thanks for watching, everybody. One more time, Sheboygan South a loser to Pulaski, 45-14, and hopefully we'll see you down the road.